Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, I was trying to get this thing so it didn't show the picture, but I couldn't figure it out, so whatever. But it's been a minute since I've tried to do this. I've been having computer problems, so if you're wondering why I haven't been putting stuff up, that's why. Um, Wanted to talk about the whole reparations issue that's hot and heavy right now. I wasn't actually going to say nothing about it, but it's too hot, it's too important, and it's too many people going back and forth about it. And it's one of those issues that I think our people shouldn't be fighting about, but somehow it's one of those things where people are arguing and stuff. It's not really an issue to argue about. I wanted to speak on it because I wanted to sort of point out the reason why people are going back and forth, our people are going back and forth, is because of a misunderstanding of what reparations actually is and how we should really be looking at what it is. There's a difference. I think people are looking at reparations as answer or remedy to our situation, or our condition as a people, when really reparations is just like a reprimand, or keeping white folks or the power structure accountable for what they did and putting pressure on them to do something. Not to be confused with being our savior to the situation or condition we're in, or an answer or a change to our condition. Not to be and people are addressing reparations like that's what it is. Reparations is not that. We should not be looking at reparations or asking white people for what they owe us as the answer for, or the reversal of, the condition black people are in. The only thing that can reverse our situation or condition is us. And that's the way I feel we should be dealing with it. If not, we're not going to ever get out of this thing. If we rely on them in that way, that's not going to be effective. So, I support people that, want to try to get reparations. If people want to put pressure on white people or whatever, great, go ahead and do that. But I think what's more effective is, what are we going to do to change our situation? Because that's who it's up to. I know people were talking about the whole Colin Kaepernick situation and, how he got the payoff. I mean, I think that's great that he got the payoff. I mean, he, took it to court and won. So I think that's great. But again, not to be confused with, these are things we need to be looking at as far as answers to what's going to turn around our situation. These are individualized instances and individualized occurrences which have nothing to do with our plight as a people, as a collective. If we're going to change our situation as a collective, that's a whole different discussion. Not to be at the same discussion table as reparations. Reparations is just putting pressure on these white folks to do something to make up for what they took from us. And when it comes to the other thing, as far as how we're going to survive and how we're going to continue as a people, and I mean it just like that, that's up to us, and it's up to us to start thinking as a collective and not as individuals. I know a lot of people talk about, well, what are people going to do with reparations that's going to help us as a collective? Well, reparations aren't going to help us as a collective, because reparations without an organized type of, if we don't have organized people with standards of direction for our people as a collective, as far as some type of collective economic power or social base. Like if we don't have collective power socially, economically, and if we don't have influence from a significant number of our people to steer our people in a certain direction, then reparations mean nothing, because it doesn't do anything to change our situation. It doesn't do anything to empower us as a people so that we can move to a direction that's going to get us some progress. And so instead of standing stagnant like we've been doing for God knows how many years. So I don't understand why our people are fighting each other. I don't understand why reparations is even a discussion. When it comes to other people that have been abused and robbed and killed or whatever, when they asked for it, nobody fussed and fought. But when we ask for something, people seem to have a problem. And what really kills me the most is that our own people have a problem. And so I don't get that. Why is it that no one is bringing up what the Jews get? I don't understand. Jews get billions of dollars a year. Jews have gotten millions and millions of dollars in what you might call reparations for the Holocaust. There's no pushback about that, even from our people. So why is it that when we bring those things up, we get pushback, particularly from our own people? I don't understand that. They'll say, well, you should forgive what happened in the past. Our people will say, well, it's been too long ago. You need to just be responsible. We wouldn't know what to do with it anyway. What does all that have to do with what's owed to us? If someone has done our people dirty and hasn't done a damn thing about it, then why don't you expect them to be accountable for that? What is wrong with our minds as a people where we don't expect that, but everybody else on the planet does? And for the people that'll say it's been too long, well, slavery was a long time ago, why are we even bringing it up, versus the Holocaust, I want people to understand something about that. When you talk about the difference between the Holocaust and slavery, you're talking about a difference of 68 years. That's the difference of years between when slavery ended and the Holocaust. 68 years. So you're telling me I shouldn't bring up reparations for slavery because it's such a long time ago. So you're saying 68 years is the difference from somebody having the gall or the nerve to talk about slavery reparations versus the Jewish reparations. That 68 years is just too much. That's too many years in between, man. You shouldn't even bring it up, man, because those 68 years is just, you're wacko for even thinking to put yourself in the same category as thinking you should have what those people got for something that didn't even happen in this country. They have a whole nation in Israel. They get billions of dollars. They have, they have a military. They have all kinds of stuff that was given to them for what happened to them. Difference is 68 years, and you're telling me we as black people, we don't need to ask for nothing. This is the mindset that we have as a people. And I don't get all the pushback, man. I mean, I think that if we're focused on what reparations actually is and don't get it confused with it being a remedy or a solution that's supposed to solve our problem as a whole boom like that, if we don't look at it like that, we shouldn't be arguing about it. All it is people seeing what they can get out of white folks. I don't got no problem with that if you want to do that. What I do have a problem is people that deal with that and think that that's the end all to be all, and that's the answer to everything. Therefore, we don't have to build. We still have to build something that our what we call communities can be self-sufficient behind. Because if we can't generate our own economic power, if we can't generate our own stability, we'll forever be depending on white folks for our survival. And when people don't seem to look at that as a problem. I don't understand that. So I don't understand all the pushback and fighting back and forth. I just kind of wanted to put that out there real quick. I don't know if I can see the chat. Let me see. Okay, not going to happen. Not going to. Rodney Lee, not going to happen. They lack that capacity. Rodney Lee, you still there? What you mean by that? Who lacks the capacity? What do you mean by that? What's up, Nikki Justice? Enforcement of the law. We have all the social influence on others. Enforcement of the law. Nikki, do you mean enforcement of the law as we know it now, or do you mean something that we're going to create? If you're still there, let me see. And I want to say this too. As far as the protesting, I hear people talking about protesting different things. That's another issue as far as, again, what good is protesting anything if there's no power behind the protest? Or boycotting, rather, whether it's boycotting the NFL. I mean, we can't keep having these hissy fits when we get mad. Okay, well, they're not treating me right, so I'm not gonna support the NFL. I mean, that's not effective. It sends a message, but it doesn't change nothing. The only thing anything will ever change is if we get some power behind us. And I know, Nikki, you're talking about influence. That's what we have to figure out, how to influence our own people, because individual black people that start a business here and there, or individual black people that have our mindset to put our people first in little pockets in little different areas, that's not going to achieve nothing unless we get all together, like on a consensus, and get in some type of organized type of organized collective movement where we can influence the people around us. So all the people that have a certain mindset where we're going to move as far as what is our needs as a people first before anything else, and have those people somehow influence people in the community. You know what I'm saying? So we need to come back to the commandments, to come back as a people. All right. The thing about the whole religious aspect is there's a lot of Israelite groups out there They all profess to keep the commandments, and somehow our situation hasn't changed. And it would seem to me that all these commandment keepers, after 30, 40, 50, 60 years, we should have seen some type of change by now. Um, if we should be able to hang our hat as an absolute on what we call a religious book. If we can hang our hat on that as absolute surety that everything's going to change, then we should be able to see it, and we should be able to prove that source as being just what it is, the absolute authority on our existence and our future and our plight. So I would just say this, if that's true, then we should be able to prove that that's a reputable source, an unquestionable source as far as that book. And if you can do that, then the discussion on whether we should believe that should happen. I don't see people doing that. I see people just having a belief or a faith in something that was given to us by our oppressor, and we haven't really done a really good thorough background check on it for us to be making claims like that. So what I see right now is just like everybody else, anybody that's going to empower themselves, they got to do it themselves and stop waiting for other people or other guys to do it for us. Without self-discipline, wisdom, morality for each other, and more in our own communities, reparations wouldn't do enough if it's not used. Exactly. It wouldn't do anything if it's not used and invested wisely. Right. But see, we don't have corporations. We don't have industry. We don't have anything that would be something that would be able to give us the power to give our own people jobs and whatever. We don't have that. So, you know, what could we really put that money into that's going to continually affect the progression of our people, you know, in a way that's not just like, boom, you have the money and you spend it, then it's gone. And then when you spend that money, it's going back to the white corporations and back to the white community until we have something that is ours. See, we don't think about that. Like, we don't think about what is ours. You know, just like I brought up the whole Colin Kaepernick. You know, that's not our football league. And so why should we expect to be treated like it is ours? It's not ours. We're still moving like we're expecting somebody to do something for us in their home, in their house, and it's not ours, it's theirs. They can do what the hell they want to do. So why is it we're going to get mad because they don't treat us the way we want them to treat us? Why are we still on that tip in 2019? You know, just like I like bringing up the NBA, like since we dominate the NBA, why haven't the players got together and made their own league? Then we call the shots. And we don't have to worry about anybody else calling the shots. We're calling the shots. And you don't have to worry about who's treating you any certain way. That's why I say if our mindset was black first, then we'd have something. Right now we don't have, as a collective, we have nothing. And the only people that's going to get us something are those that think along those lines, and that is to put our people first above anything else. So, let's see. Have you looked into Israel? Indigenous to land will destroy the system. I don't know about all that. We need to get them off our land. Get who off our... I don't know what you mean by that. But again, you're talking about whatever you're talking about, you know, you got to have some power to make moves like that. And so if no one's trying to build some type of a structure like that, then we can't even have those kind of discussions. And it doesn't seem like enough of us are talking in that way where we're concentrating on having something that is ours exclusively. Because we want to be so intertwined with what the other people are doing. We want to be included in what they're doing. But who benefits? They're going to benefit because we're being included in something that they built. So, whatever you're doing is going to benefit them. And we end up in a position where we're going to continue to beg for more because we're not satisfied. So, let me see what else y'all saying. The Negro people are divided into many factions, frats, religions, philosophies. Some of our people sell out for personal gain rather than collective mindset. Right. Personal gain instead of collective mindset. We don't move as a people. What's best for us as a people? A lot of our people are afraid to think that way because they're terrified of isolating other people and being judged as such. And I don't know why that is. Those people, they have corporations, they have industry, they have governments, they have politicians, laws, they have all these things. We don't. So why should we care what these people think? They have all the power. So why is it that we would even question that if all we're trying to do is get for ourselves what all these other people on this planet have? I don't understand why we're even worried about that. It doesn't concern them. They already have theirs. So you're right. Like, we don't think as a collective, like what works for us as a people. We're thinking about how we can just do something for ourselves right now. Any agenda that we get onto needs to be something that helps our people as a collective. That's why I don't have a problem with reparations, because it's something. If they decide to hand out checks or whatever, I don't know. I don't really particularly believe they will, but let's just say they did. I mean, that's something. It's something. It's something where, they're doing something and holding themselves somewhat accountable, as small as it is, for what they did. But it doesn't solve the problem, though. Only we can do that. So let me see. I'm about to get off of this thing. Divide and conquer. It's an old way to fight a war without using an army. Silent weapons for quiet wars settles long-term moves. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't realize we're in a war, Our people don't realize all the obstacles that are being purposely put in front of us to stop us from becoming a nation. What I mentioned earlier is it's nationhood I'm talking about. When you have a people that decide we're going to live a certain way, we're going to live by certain standards, and we're going to control our community and produce our own economic power, wealth, and control our own social situations or whatever according to the way we want. That's a nation. So if that was the direction of our people, then I think the things that fall in line to those things would be what everybody should be looking at as productive. Everything else is just, whether it be religion or whatever, everything else is just a distraction. But they're doing everything in their power to stop us from doing those things, always have. And so, yeah, I mean, we got to stop being dependent and start being independent in the way we think. Thanks, Natasha Jones. Yeah, it's been a minute. So yeah, that's it. Just want to put that out there as far as what I think about this whole reparation talk. I don't know what you guys think, but hopefully more people that are willing to put our needs and agendas first, we can get together and start doing things to go in that direction, and just see how many people get on board just to start the movement. Because that's what a movement is, trying to do something to get somewhere, not just talk. But yeah. So anyway, I'm about to get off of here. And I appreciate y'all's support. And I will see y'all next time.